Sarati Foundation, Anjana Sutta Academy, put together here, 2023, October 17. And here's a nice picture. This was the original cover for Nectar of Instruction that we saw on Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi in the courtyard of side courtyard of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, Radha Damodar temple. And Srila Prabhupada had that nice room. One room, I think he would cook, and then he would sit and honor prasad and look out the window, and he could look right at Rupa Goswami's Samadhi and taking advantage. Rupa Goswami's bones are right there. And such a powerful impression to go there and just rub your face against the walls. Then of course we have this. It's not just that some stories, but very authoritative people, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and then A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, going all over the world on his impetus. So we've usually been looking at this song by Rupa Goswami. By Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Ohai Vaishnava Thakur. And there's like 3 or 4 more songs right there, based upon Upadeshamrita. So much nice thing. Just take the work of the previous acharyas and adjust it according to your community, your circle of contacts, and put it in media that they can understand. And of course, Prabhupada says, who will not go where there is good food and good music? Let's follow this here. Okay. So first we will sing, and then you can sing. My tamarine. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura, Doyar Sagar, Nidase Koruna Kori. Follow.
One of the devotee my throat is not so good. So I would request one of the devotee, please unmute and follow after Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Oh hey Vaishnava Tahura, Doyara Sahara, Idesa Karuna Kori.
Diya Pada Chaya, Prodoheya Maya, Tomara Charana Dori.
Dio Pada Chaya, Sodohe Hamaya, Tomara Charana Tori.
Chaya Begadomi, Chaya Dosha Shlodi, Chaya Guna Deho Dase.
Chaya Begadomi, Chaya Dosasoti, Chaya Gunadeho Desi.
Chaya Satasanga, Deho He Amare, Mosechi Sangera Ashe.
Chaya Satasanga, Dohe He Amara, Pose Se Sangira She.
Eka Ki Amara, Nahi Paya Bala, Harinama Sankirtani.
Ekaki Amara, Nahi Paya Pala, Harinama Sangitani.
Tumi Kripa Kori, Shradu Bindu Diya, Deho Krishna Namadani.
Tumi Kripa Kori, Shrida Brindu Doya, Deho Krishna Namadani.
Krishna Se Tomar, Krishna Dite Paro, Kumara Shakwati Yache.
Krishna Se Tomara, Krishna Dete Boro, tomara sahati ache.
Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna Boli, Dai Tava Pache Pache.
Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna bole, Dahita pache pache.
Hey Vaishnava Thakura, Goyar Sagar, Eda Se Koruna Kore.
O he Vaishnava Tahura, Doyara Sagara, Idesa Karuna Kori.
Oh, Venerable, look, Venera. Ah, Venerable Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna. O ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Prabhupada ki jai. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet. Teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. This is text 1, 2, 3, 4, Upadeshamrita. And then 5, 6, 7, they talk about association. And 5, no, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6 talk about association. And 7 and 8 talk about just the holy names, Hari Kirtan. But he says, I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me this one drop of faith in which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Because as we've been reading in the last few weeks, 7 and 8 say, Satnama Krishna Chari, Tanama Rish Krishna Charitari, Sitapiya Vidya, Katopatapta Rasanasa. Yeah. That if we just chant Hare Krishna, engage in Krishna Sankirtan, then the form of Krishna will become manifest. We'll look at the pictures of Krishna and my gosh, he'll be there. Nama Rupa Charit, and we'll see his qualities. What is he like? My goodness, he's scary. Nama Rupa Charitari. And then the pastimes, the associates, all those things will become manifest and we'll become free from our attachment. We're going to taste and become free from our material taste. And then we'll be able to actually engage in Raga Nuga Bhakti. But he's saying here he can't do it by himself. He needs a drop of mercy. And he says, Krishna is yours. Krishna say Tomar. Krishna dite power. Tomar Shakatiyachi. You have the power to give him to me. You have the power to give him to anyone. I am simply your servant running behind you shouting Krishna. Krishna. It's not in here, but it says, I am Amito Kangal. I am destitute. Yeah, that's a fact. If we consider the resources we have in our community, wherever we are, I'm in Murfreesboro, and we're surrounded by, people who are very hollow. It's kind of a maybe middle class commuter community to a large degree. People go every day to Nashville. But there's nothing here really in terms of culture or these kind of things. All very, very culture, very shallow. And so we're destitute. Okay, let's go back here to our PowerPoint show and close this. So that's a little summary. Today, then we're looking at text number 8, because 7 and 8 says do Raganuga Bhakti, but do it in Braja. Well, what is Braja? Okay, so maybe one person can open your microphone and respond here. One of the gents. Vaikuntaj Ganito Vara Madhupari Tatrapi Raso Savadi
Vaikunta janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad.
Vrindaranya mudarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhana.
Vrindaranyamudarapaniramanat tatrapi govardhanat.
Radha kunda mihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat.
Radha Kundamihapika Gokulapate Premamrita Plavanat.
Kuryadasya virajito giritate sevam vivekina kaha.
Kuryadasya Virajito Giritate Sevam Viveki Nakaha.
Mataji, can you chant and we'll all respond in our own ashrams?
Vaikunta Janitojvara Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat.
Vaikuntajdanito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad.
Vrindaranyamudarapanim Ramanat Tatrapi Govardhanam.
Vrindaranyamudharapani ramanat tatrapi govardhanam.
Radha Kundamihapi Gokulapate Premamrita Plavanat.
Radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat.
Kuryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevam Viveki Naka.
Kuryad asya virajato giritate sevam viveki nakaha. So as we understand from our Sanskrit teacher, Hari Liladas, who has been described in the congressional halls of Mexico as one of the foremost Sanskrit scholars in the modern world. This is Vasant Tilak, the ornament of spring, the meter here. And of course, it's very nice. We'd have very, very nice class just on the meters that Rupa Goswami uses in Upadeshamrita and the Sanskrit, very elevated document, and carve it in stone. So then now we're supposed to do this, what do you call it, Raganuga Bhakti in Vrindavan, take shelter of devotees there. So this verse gives very, very nice perspective on the spiritual world. The translation says, the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. My gosh. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Ras Lila pastimes. So the way we look at it within Mathura Puri, the forest of Vrindavan are special. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. So two reasons. Krishna lifted it with the pinky of his left hand, and also he had so many pastimes there. And above all, the super excellent Radhakund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then, okay, now here's the conclusion. Where then is that intelligent person who was unwilling to serve this divine Kunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? Very nice. Vaikuntaj. Okay, let me have word by word. The next slide here. Help. Okay. Vaikunta. Then Vaikunta. Janitaha, because of birth, Vara, better. Madhupuri, the transcendental city known as Mathura. Okay. Doesn't mean just the district of, not the district, but the city. Okay. Tatrapi, superior to that. Tatra api, Rasotsavat, because of the performance of Rasa Lila, Vrindaranyam, the forest of Vrinda, Udarapani, of Lord Krishna, Ramanat, because of various loving pastimes, Tatrapi, superior to that, Govardhanaha, Govardhan Hill, Radhakund, a place called Radhakund, Ihapi, superior to this, Gokula Pate, the master of Gokula, Prem Amrita, with the nectar of divine love, Aplavanat, because of being overflooded. Aplavana, Aplavanat, Vaikuntat, Ramanat. Kuryat, would do, Asya, of this, Radhakund, Virajataha, situated Giritate, at the foot of Govardhan, Sevam, Savisio Viveke, who is intelligent, not who. Yeah. So Sanskrit grammar, very nice. In our book, which you can get at Amazon.com, Tavapachi Pachi, Radha Sugopi Devidasi, she put this, I think she did the Anvaya, put the Sanskrit words into English grammatical order, so you can read it very clearly then. Okay. Some Prabhupada's very nice purports. Okay, we can't see it here because it's covered over by this bar. You can't move the bar. Okay. Yeah. The spiritual world, blah blah blah. Okay. Spiritual world is 3/4 of the total creation, supreme personality of Godhead. I'll get it again. The spiritual world is 3/4 of the total creation, supreme personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself appeared at Mathura. So we put a little picture of Lord Vishnu on the back of Garuda with probably Shri and Bhu. And of course, in the, where is this? In the second canto, the third canto. In the second canto, we have Sukadeva Goswami presenting the Bhagavatam in the first 3 chapters. And then Sukadeva Goswami then making a longer description or glorification of Bhagavatam before he starts. Then Brahma describing Bhagavatam, Narada, how Narada spoke to Brahma spoke to Bhagavatam to Narada. So there's a description somewhere of Brahma's darshan of the spiritual world. And everything is so beautiful. The Lakshmis are dusting the palaces like that, singing, what do you call it, opera songs, and very, very nice place. Very other religions was what we were listening to. Radhikaraman Das, Vaishnava scholar, and he was saying there was one theologian who was going through the descriptions of Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and he said there's so much description of hell in these different religions, hellish activities, but there's not a whole lot of description of the spiritual activities, what the spiritual world is like. But in the mode of ignorance, our devotional service is motivated out of fear, and so the mode of passion, out of desire, and out of mode of goodness, because we understand what reality is, and we act on that. And finally, the mode of transcendental, then we're motivated by the vibhava, different aspects, and we're participating in the motivation like that. So the Bhagavad Gita gives when we're following the principles and purifying ourselves, becoming qualified listeners, in parampara, then we can actually experience the quality of the communication, and actually experience Vaikuntha, experience Dwarka and Krishna's pastimes there. But even though that this is in the spiritual world, it's considered that the actual Mathura Mandala is superior to the kingdom of God. My goodness. The interior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests, Dwarashokonan. This is Talavan, Madhuvan, Bahulavan, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. So, of course, this is one of the different opportunities given to us, by the acharyas, this Braj Mandal Parikrama. And we went with Lokanath Maharaj's Parikrama. We did it during Kartik. It's one whole month. Hundreds of devotees traveling. In the beginning, only like 150 the first time I went, but now it's expanded. And it goes for the entire Kartik, and you go out and you camping along the way. And of course, it depends. It's very, very, very taxing physically. We haven't done it for a few years. We have devotees who came back and were describing it, and the physical austerities involved can be quite severe. But you can also feel the presence that everything's being organized by Radharani. And even if you're about to drop dead and die, you'll find a plate of prasadam sitting right in front of you under a tree. You have these kind of experiences. But the parikrama goes around Vrindavan. And Narayana Bhatta Goswami was described as the acharya for developing it and identifying the places. Of course, so much of the 6 Goswamis also renovated these pastime places like that. But the actual parikrama, Narayana Bhatta Goswami is venerated. He was contemporary Goswamis, and really a very nice person, very transcendental, purified personality. So and he described how to go around Vrindavan like that and visit these places. In Talavan, of course, there's a story of Dhenukasura. In Madhuvan, I think maybe that's going to be somebody else. Who's that? Madhu Rakshasha. Now, Bahulavan, I think there's Bahula, the pious cow, and how she promised the tiger to come back and give her a body to him for him to eat. She didn't break her vow. Then she became a wife of Krishna and so on. And these are traditions of the Brijbasis. They're described in scriptures, and they're also revealed by the visions of sadhus. And so then there's a map here. We have a map someone did, which gives like a nice kind of like picture illustrated description of these places like that. So these are some Mathura Mandala. Krishna is at birth there, and more like maybe Krishna is respected for his opulence and his power and his position as a king and things like that. Although taking birth there too for a few moments. But in Vrindavan forest, there are different pastimes of Krishna in different ages like that. And there's no consciousness of his actually being Vaikuntapati. So then it goes on, thus the interior Vrindavan forest is considered superior to Mathura. But superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan the hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhan the hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Raja, from the torrential rain sent by the angry Indra, king of the demigods. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends. And there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha. It's interesting, if you look at most of these words that deal with love, the different aspects like confidential love, paramour, rendezvous, they're all French words. Okay. If you want good machines, go to Germany. If you want good food, go to Italy. If you want romance, go to France. With his most beloved Sri Radha, and engaged in loving pastimes with her. So this is part of the whole perspective that this was happening 5,000 years ago. Prabhupada said that this Western historical method really can't date much or describe much beyond 2,000 years. And of course, they are, describing that, for example, that Egypt, the first dynasty, the second dynasty, they're pushing those back to maybe like 4,000 years or things like that. Then they age the Sphinx next to the pyramids of Giza, and they try so many ways to age these things using, rational empiricism. They try and find, maybe DNA samples, organic samples on the stones that we use to build the pyramids. And with those, then they can try and apply the techniques of carbon dating. But all of these things, rational empiricism, if you're looking at, rational, of course, means mathematics. Empiricism means direct perception. So science depends upon directly experiencing things and using logic, especially mathematics, to integrate those different facts and then expand them over time and space. But of course, there are limits to this. Limits, it's a whole different program. Limits to this. But our perspective and information, and even, looking at it rationally, was even 500 years ago when Krishna was here, things were different. Raghunath Das Goswami says, I'm going to commit suicide by jumping off Govardhan Hill. But now if you jump off Govardhan Hill, you have to probably do it 5 or 6, 7, 8, maybe quite a few times, because it's not that high anymore. It's not a big drop with rocks at the bottom, So even 500 years ago, we can find descriptions that things changed a lot. And of course, that takes us right back to Lord Chaitanya in a very historical, documentable fashion. And then his activities and pastimes, once we see those, they're so fantastic, So all these different places, Govardhan was much bigger, higher, expansive, and there were just unlimited number of places with grass and, as you go, Hantaya Madhya Abala Haridasa Varya, Yad Rama Krishna Charana Sparashi Pramoda, Manom Tanoti Sahago Banayos Tayorya, Aniya Suyavasa Kanda Kandamulai. Oh friend, just see this Govardhan. He's the best servant, Haridasa Varya. He gives nice grass, nice water. And the water tastes like nectar, so nice with different flavors from the minerals. And the grass, you can chew on it. Even a human being have nice juice come out with different flavors. What to speak of the different plants and herbs the cows are eating. So he's giving all these nice things and places to play, and of course, the birds to sing, and so many places, and new places to discover. It's like going in Disneyland, which is expanding like that. So Govardhan is better than the forest, and the forests are better than Mathura. More intense, we might say. More intense. Yeah. So Krishna lifted it, and also he had all these rendezvous with Radharani there. Radhakund at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all, because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. Wow. If you're caught in a tsunami, you're going to get wet. So if we're hanging out, if we can reach Radhakund, we're going to get wet. Advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radhakund, because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Radha and Krishna and Radha, Rati Vilas. So this last time we went to India, we were able to take a very, very nice academic scholarly group, and we filmed our last movie of the 4 movies we're making to consolidate our very small efforts to Sankirtan. And it came out very well. The first one in Peru, the second one in the United States are already up. And the 4th one will go up probably within just maybe by probably Ram Vijay, maybe like in a week or so from now, we'll go ahead and have a big release for that, you know. And it very nice. We were able to bring scholars to Delhi, Kolkata, Mayapur, Manipur, and then to Vrindavan and Radhakund. And very, very educated people, very prominent people, 70, 80 years old, and from South America. And one of them, he mentioned that he'd been to India a few times before on programs with the United Nations to try and um, uh, discover resources, for combating world poverty, world militarism, And he saw India has very good perspectives on these things. But he said, this time I was able to see the heart of India, and it's a debt I can never repay. So yeah, it's there. And this Radhakund is very special. So one of our students, Krishna Swarup, he was district forestry officer in Assam, but he retired and then built a nice ashram there in Par Colony. It's about 8 minutes from the Kunda walking. It's very nice. You go from there 8 minutes, and it's 8 spiritual minutes. So we're able to stay there for maybe, I think, 3 months, right through the winter. And physically, there wasn't too bad. Physically, the air contamination was so high, we were getting, skin reactions, rashes on our skin. But better to rot in Vrindavan than go anywhere else. Yeah. So yeah, when you started going up there, then there's so many different, ISKCON temples and Prabhupada's followers and devotees, and then from Temple of Ramachandra and the oldest temple in Radhakund, and there's so many things are there. You can see how over the ages, different barons and people have, funded to build nice architectural remnants for restoring these things. And different communities are passing down different traditions and so on. Temple to the Astasaki, what do you call it? Lalita Kunda. So the people are there, these things are there. And if Krishna is willing, then we can begin to penetrate them. We can begin to do text number 8, and do some Raga Nuga Bhakti and chanting and following very strictly and so on. But even if we're controlling our senses, okay, then it's something wrong staying in Radhakund. Also, of course, we can also stay in different places in Vrindavan, maybe even better for us, depending on our level of development. Maybe some of us should be in Mathura, and hearing about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That's the proper place for us to get connected at this point. But of course, then Krishna is so kind. He wants to share this with everybody. He wants everybody to appreciate this and participate in these activities. So then, he sends us out. If we, with a little bit of effort, we can stay connected with Vrindavan, in all these different places. But when we go out we actually don't go out, but we go in. It's just like a very big, beautiful house. It's part of a beautiful town. It's part of a beautiful universe. But one place in this house, in one corner, there's a little closet full of dark, whatever stuff. So that's the material world. We go, so it's not the external world. It's actually a little part of the spiritual world, tiny little part. When we come in here and we think, oh, I'll go back to the spiritual world. No, it's we're just giving up this little tiny part to go back to the real world. So tiny, it's insignificant. Maybe in everybody's city there's a jail, a city jail. How much does that form of the actual city? How many people are actually in there in most cases? So Vaikuntha is superior to the material world. Mathura is still much more intense. The forest, Krishna's playing and having fun with his friends and meeting the gopis. And then Govardhan is more concentrated on a hill, right at the base of that one place, Radhakund. And it's beautiful. Everybody likes to go swimming and having a pond and places like that to play and things in the bank. So Radhakund is like that, and descriptions are there. Let's go on here. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the area of Brajabhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radhakunda. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the location of Radhakunda. Finally, he found the holy spot, and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radhakunda was situated in there. So in Spanish, it was translated as saying, he told his devotees that this was the actual Radhakunda. This is a very, very important point. It's like we see the deities, okay? And they may not even be formed so well. I mean, but we know this is a Krishna, and Krishna has accepted this form and for hundreds of years or something, and a very special form. You know? So same way, the Radhakunda we experience is, it's like a deity. It's an external form manifest for us. You know? And at that time, when Lord Chaitanya found that it was very, very shallow, as we understand, very shallow. And right by it, there were two ponds named Shama and Gauri. And he understood this is it. And not even exactly ponds, but more like, when the surface of the earth is a little bit lower, then naturally some water will come and stand in there. So that's what they were. And this sannyasi, beautiful golden sannyasi, is sitting there splashing water on himself. The Brijbasis are wondering, what's this going on? Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotees, headed by the 6 Goswamis, such as Rupa and Raghunath. Presently, there is a large lake known as Radhakund there. Probably say, known as Radhakund. So again, some savage comes from the jungle. He's heard about music. So he goes into the city, every town, and he has poisoned arrows and all kinds of stuff. And he asks somebody, give me music. People a little frightened, and they point him towards a music store and run away. And he goes in there and terrifies the clerk and says, give me music. The clerk hands him a CD, and he goes back into the jungle and says, I have music. He does, but you need the proper equipment and everything else to open it up. The descriptions, I think maybe it's Raghunath Das Goswami or Radhakund, are that, there's pink, what's it called? Beautiful powder blue skies and pink clouds, and the beach is made of, fine diamonds and emeralds, and swans swimming in the place. And each of the sakis has a different kunda, not kunda, but kunja, arboleda, bower, on the 8 different directions to host Radha and Radha Krishna. And big enough for boating pastimes, however big you want it. And so this is the Radha Kund, and if you go to Radha Kund, you'll immediately develop your love in the mood of the gopis. Well, that's the Radha Kund that you have to go to. But it doesn't mean there's no benefit from even just going there. Somehow or other, you see so many people when we were there. Every day, people will be coming through in groups like that. And you can see their consciousness and different things like that. But they're there, and there's some consciousness. Okay. So there's a large pond there known as Radhakund there. And very last part. Srila Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radhakund because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radhakund and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. So why wasn't Prabhupada residing there? Why did he reside in Vrindavan? Why did he build a temple there? Why? I didn't see that. So he was, oh my God, okay. Maybe I got some more. Can everybody hear us? Everything's going on pretty well?
Yes, Maharaj, very well.
Okay. Yeah. And Abhishek was warning me that nobody could hear me. It's so interesting giving these classes for 2 hours and finding out you were never connected. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya was there in Vrindavan, a nice picture, everybody's looking at his feet and everything else like cotton candy, and looking for different things and try to make them anandam body, make them manifest, The six Goswamis, they made all these things manifest, different people. And of course, as Kali Yuga comes, they get more covered, So why didn't Prabhupada stay at these different places? Why didn't he go to Radhakund and stay there and everything else like that? Well, because he was going out. No, that's what I was understanding. He wanted to make Vrindavan accessible. He wanted to make a guest house where Westerners could come and have the facilities they needed at their level to be able to do the yoga, the proper yoga. I mean, the Brajmanda Parikrama is this fantastic, the Loknath Maharaj for sadhana bhakti, controlling your senses, being regulated, living simply at that level. And so many big people came on it. And one big surgeon, he was in charge of surgery at a big hospital, maybe eight doctors working under him, to speak of so many people. And he said after doing the whole parikrama, he wasn't seeing Radha and Krishna dancing, here and there, and like other people were. He said, but I don't doubt that it's possible. But he said, what I got out of it this time was that I realized that all my life I was really struggling to have position, wealth, prestige, buildings, servants, because I was afraid. And if I didn't have those, I would just be terrible. I would be miserable and suffering. But he said on this parikrama where you just have a few things in the box and you're traveling, so simply, he said, I've learned that you can be happy with just a few things. You know what you're doing. And so he said that I didn't see Radha and Krishna, but he said that's such a fantastic thing I've gotten, that I've learned you can be happy with just a few things like that. And so he wanted to thank everybody. So, so here it is. It's good for sadhana bhakti. It's good for raganuga bhakti, and it's good for the expanding anandam buddhi vardhanam, the transcendental intelligence. Okay. So different levels, and Prabhupada made Krishna Balaram Mantir. He made it available, and maybe transcendentally himself. He's just on a different position in the service he's rendering in Vrindavan. The importance of Radhakund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can any person uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radhakund. One time we were on Lokanath Maharaj, Rajmanda Parikrama, named Radha, oh my gosh, what do I remember now? Anyway, one very nice sannyasi, what is this? Radharaman Maharaj. He was talking to us, and we were stopping at different places along the way, and he said, "This is Krishna Kund, one other place, someplace." And he said something like about, if you don't know the name of a kunda in Vrindavan, he said there's something like about a 40% chance that the name of the kunda is Krishna Kund. So on. So people don't know. There's a Garuda Krishna village in Kunda. So many places like that. Madhukund, outside of Varsana, where Radharani and Krishna met for the first time, and the whole stories of what was happening. And there's unlimited numbers of pastimes, but people, unless they're worshiping Lord Chaitanya, unless they're, in other Sampradaya, they can't appreciate Radhakund the way we do. They come through there, they know it's Radhakund, But there's so many different kundas. There's Sharabi Kund, there's Apsara Kund, there's Govinda Kund, so many places around Govardhan. And it's different Sampradayas. They worship different things. Balabha Sampradaya, to our understanding, they worship Mother Yashoda as the greatest devotee and Balakrishna as the nicest deity. So there are many different people, different places. And now, why are we here? Maybe because we were worshiping Radha, Krishna and Yashoda, and now we have some flavor. And maybe we want to worship Radha and Krishna, and maybe we're here to get that. When we were there, one time we were some holidays, some commercial holiday, and we were heading up to the Kunda, and the different groups were coming from Delhi, and they come down and they had their badges on their chests, like the so and so, software engineering company, this and that company. And they looked a little, they were chanting some things like, the business slogans and going around there. And they look jolly, like they're having a good time, and maybe even realizing a little bit how funny it was to be in doing team building programs in Vrindavan and so on. But yeah, they were getting, Krishna will give so much. Thus, Radhakund is mainly worshipped by Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, any questions or comments? Anybody have any experiences in Vrindavan? We don't have tilak on because it was making our skin dry out. It looks terrible.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So Maharaj, does living in Govardhan, would it be considered same as living in Radhakund?
Again, a little slower.
I said, just living in Govardhan area, would that be considered living in Radhakund as well?
Oh, very nice question. When I was brahmachari life in 455 Valencia Street, 1978 or 9 or something, or more, like I guess maybe like 1975. One devotee, Loka Saranya, he came there as Gajahanta, as the BBT book distributors. They sent them in. And he was before he became a devotee, he was a yogi. He would live up in the mountains and collect wild herbs and then sell them to whole stores. He's living very simply, all fasting, so on. So anyway, he ended up he did a very austerity book distribution for a long time. Then he ended up in Radhakund, and almost every time I go to India, I see him. He grew a long beard, and also taking association with one Bengali, sadhu, and they have a lot of rounds every day and everything else and so on. So I was meeting him and talking to him, and sometimes, so he lives, if you come out of Radhakund, you pass over one bridge like that. You know that? You come out of Radhakund. Well, you come out of Radhakund, you're following along the Parikrama path. There's a little bridge, and the other side of that is like some other stuff, and it's almost like it has spiritual significance, like you're passing over a bridge to the place. And he'd been there many, many, many years. There was quite a few people who'd been there many years, and they done their austerities, in terms of being accepted and purification and humble, but nice, So anyway, his point was that Radhakund was just too intense for him. I didn't mean that, and he would like to visit it, frequently and very frequently and so on. But he was preferred to live over the bridge and down the road a little bit, and go over down like that. And so in many cases, just a geographical location indicates, a different spiritual consciousness. Yeah. Okay. So the other.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the explanation. Maharaj, I have one question that sometimes I hear that we can bathe in Radhakund because it's very auspicious, and sometimes I hear that we're not supposed to because we can get an aparad for that. So Maharaj, are we allowed to bathe in Radhakund, or only like get it as holy river on our head as Achman?
It's a very what's the word? Controversial question. But I can tell you what I know and what I do. I think in the beginning, Prabhupada was saying bathe there and this and that, and then I heard that one time some devotees from Florida started doing water polo in Radhakund, and Prabhupada was very disturbed about this. And he said, when you're kicking Radhakund with your feet, you are kicking Srimati Radharani in the body. So at some points he told them, no, don't do it, don't go in like that. But the other times, then he said, okay, but do it respectfully and so on. And I think he said that Bhaktisiddhanta never did full immersion. He would just sit on the bank and take his load and pour it over him like that and so on, you know. And so in the beginning, I was going, grab a chain and go in. And of course, it's a little scary because it's slippery and the turtles can grab your toes, maybe eat you. So as far as I know, if it's with a respectful mood, purification, and you're chanting 16 nice rounds of following the 4 principles like that, then it's okay, like that, to immerse ourselves and try and let the whole experience just penetrate our body. But what I do now is usually I sit on the bank, I pay my dandavats, and then I take my kunda and with my pot and kundala, and then pour the water over my head. Yeah. Okay. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Maharaj, one more question is that, like Radhakund Raj, should we put it as Vaishnav Tilak or not?
What do you mean for Radhakund Tilak?
Raj.
I've never heard anybody. Probably people know some things about it, but I've never heard. Well, actually, I have. As far as I know, there is a mention that Lord Chaitanya did use it for tilak. He did use Radhakund, or earth, for tilak. So I think it's fine. But other than that, you can worship the other ways. It's very nice to take it and put it on your head, like that, and so on. Yeah, so you're offering respects to it and putting it on your head. So as far as I know, it's fine to do it that way. But also, if you just want to keep it, and offer artik to it, it's fine.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Please give me blessings so I can increase my bhakti and.
I'll give you blessings if you give me blessings. Like that. Yeah.
Please give me blessings, Maharaj.
Okay, Hare Krishna. You also have to bless us. Hare, I was born in the family of dog eaters. Yeah, hot dogs. We used to eat hot dogs when I was a child. So who knows what's in those things? So anyway, somehow or other, But anyway, Hare Krishna. One letter to Jayatirtha. It came to San Francisco Temple because he had been there. And I got it and I called him. He was back in Los Angeles. And I said, should I forward it to you? And he said, no, open it immediately. And so I learned about being attached to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada gave very practical instructions about the Gurukula and different things. Then he finished off and he said, you cannot exist without my mercy. So when I read that line, I was thinking, wow, that's shocking. But yes, okay, that's true, Prabhupada, And then the next line, Prabhupada said, and I cannot exist without your mercy. This mutual respect, this mutual love is Krishna consciousness. That's it. Yeah. Nobody's going back to the spiritual world without my approval. And I'm not going back to the spiritual world without everybody else's approval. That's, yeah. Okay, any other comments or questions or complaints?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes, sir.
Salvation Prabhupada. I have one question. In the translation, it says Mathura is superior to the spiritual world. How should we take that? Is it specifically where the Narayana forms reside? Or is it talking about the entire spiritual world?
Well, Narayana forms reside in every loka in the spiritual world, right? Vaikuntha loka.
Yes, but does Goloka Vrindavan come under Vaikuntha?
Well, that's the whole. I think the whole thing is that Mathura is, in general, the Chirasi Krosh, 84 koshas, is superior to Vaikuntha. If you have a chance to go to Vaikuntha or go to take the bus from Delhi, it's better to go to there. Yeah. And if you'll stay there, you'll be educated very quickly. You'll get the education you need to see it. But more intense than Mathura Mantal in general is the forests, And then more intense than those is Govardhan, and more intense than those is Radhakund. So it's like a matter of intensity.
So in the spiritual world, so we have the Vaikuntha lokas, and of course, sometimes Vaikuntha is used for everything spiritual world. Sometimes it's distinguished from in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, where there is, Mathura, Dwaraka, and Vrindavan. So this verse is specifically talking about only those, the realm of the spiritual world, which is other than Goloka Vrindavan.
I don't understand. Yeah, it's like concentric circles. I mean, for example, where are you now?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
But where in Houston, Texas? What
This
address?
region, this region is address 4830 Ella Boulevard.
Are you outside under a tree?
No, I'm inside my
Which
office.
room? Or in your office? Okay. Yeah. Are you seated on one chair or what?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're still in Houston. You're still in Houston, Texas. Yeah. But and so then if we're in Radhakund, we're still in Vaikuntha. Yeah. Does that help?
Yes. Okay. So it's essentially still, my understanding is there's also Govardhan in the spiritual world, and it's not different from the Govardhan in the material world. So when Prabhupada uses the word spiritual world in the purport,
okay.
he's saying the spiritual world is naturally superior to material world.
Yeah.
However, Mathura and adjoining areas,
Yeah.
although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the material world, to the spiritual world. So when he's using the word spiritual world, I'm assuming he's not referring to the Goloka Vrindavan, particularly the regions of Mathura, Dwaraka, and Vrindavan, but
So
maybe
your question is if Gokula is superior to Vaikuntha?
Yes.
I think so. I mean, in what respect? I mean, for example, if I go to Italy, right? I can run around in Italy and do this and do that and everything else. But if I go to the Italian embassy in Washington, D.C., am I more situated? Am I more closely situated with the political power of Italy when I'm just running around any place in the country when I'm in the embassy in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Yeah. Embassy in Washington, D.C., you're basically, I would suspicion that any ambassador, can get through to the president of Italy, whatever he's called, within, it's important within a matter of minutes, so on. So that's what I would understand, in that sense, but it's a different sense. I mean, it's Italy is, you can get certain things you can't get in the ambassador's office. There'll be certain kind of olive oil you can't get there in Washington, D.C. Yeah.
Okay, so we take Vaikuntha as other than the Goloka Vrindavan realm, Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwaraka regions of the spiritual world. Other than that is what is being referred to here as Vaikuntha.
Again, what's your boy? Gopal Kumar, as we remember in, what's it, Briha Bhagavatamrita, he's explaining the whole thing, and he says sometimes he goes from Goloka to Gokula, and he says for a few moments he can recognize the difference, and then after some time he has a hard time remembering whether he's in Goloka or in Gokula. So that's part of it. In certain aspects, everything else, Gokula is superior to Goloka, and Radhakund, Govardhan in the material world is superior to Bahulavan in the spiritual world, and the what do you call it, the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri, which is Vaikuntha, is superior to Vaikuntha because it's a part of it's confidential pastimes are being carried on there. Is that what you're trying to understand or talk about?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. And the reason I'm asking this is, then it seems we don't even need to have the desire to go back to spiritual world if we are living on the banks of Radhakunda. That's it. We have achieved the topmost position that ever exists, and we're done, right?
Yeah, but again, not but there are different humors. For example, if Krishna wants us to go to the material world for preaching and sankirtan, then that's superior to being in Vaikuntha and serving him. Superior, So it depends upon our service attitude. Yeah. But if we're in statikas, making progress, then maybe then we should want to go from Gokula to Goloka, because we're still in the material consciousness to some degree, or something like that, material perspective. So we need to purify ourselves from that, from going from Gokula to Goloka, if that's why we're there, if we're making progressive people. That's what I understand.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I was also thinking in terms of, say, there's probably no pastime of Krishna appearing in the spiritual world, but it exists, in the Mathura Mandal, where Krishna is appearing pastime. So in that sense, okay, that's great. But when you go to the other pastimes, like, Rasa Lila, it must be happening in the spiritual world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, whether is it because of the pastimes and stuff, but some pastimes are also there in both places.
Yeah.
Just a comment, yeah.
It's like a game show. Yes, no, yes. You win! He disappeared from his house and was never seen again. There are ashes on his chair.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. We don't see you. We don't see your face. We only see Hanuman giving ring to Sita on the screen.
It's because I moved my ear down next to the speaker, which is at the bottom of the computer, to hear that.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaji, for a very, very wonderful session. So, Maharaji, there is no more questions, no more hand raise. If you allow, can we wind up our call here, Maharaji?
Who is here?
It's a Prema Priya Padma Devi Dasi, Maharaji.
Mahika, Hari Lila Das, Abhishek. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Encore. So many people from the transcendental world, known as Nashville. Nashville is superior to something. Brajeshwari, Carlos Roll from Chile, Israel Rada from Peru, Kevin G, who used to work for Debbie's Cookies, Krishna Manju, Madhu's iPhone, Mahatma Singh, Rani G, Narayan, SS Saroj, Srinivasa Acharya, Tanu, he lives in Franklin, frankly speaking, and Zoom user. So thank you all for your association, and we hope that we also can at least be little pieces of, actually pieces of little rocks, little rocks that massage Krishna's feet when he's walking. We want to be.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your Vani association. Hare Krishna.
We're missing you, Harilila. Hurry, come back soon. We'll go see you.
Yeah, it will take few months. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you so
Krishna
much.
Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaji. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Preksha Maharaj. Swami Maharaj.
Jai.
Sindhu Bhai Vacha Patabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So now we have to wind up our call here. Thank you so much once again. Hare Krishna.